Oh man, it's a beautiful day out here. Let's talk about how it is to drive this thing as a daily driver. This is a full-fledged drift car, dual caliper rear hydro, welded diff, angle kit, the whole shaboing boing. Let's get into it. All right, so here we are. We're inside the Z, cruising at a nice speed of 0 miles an hour. I'll get into why that is the way it is a little later, but I figured I'd go ahead and make this while on the freeway where I have to do the least amount of shifting. But this is what it's like to daily drive a drift car, man. I don't know if you guys can hear the background noise, but it is a little bit louder than your typical daily drivable commuter car. You do get a little bit more vibration through the steering wheel from the additional suspension components, the differences in wheels and things of that nature. But overall, it's a pretty enjoyable experience. I mean, just knowing that these cars over here are regular traffic and they can't get cracking whenever they want to means that, you know, I'm doing something different than they are. And they may not even know it. Some who know are going to know when they see this car. But for the most part, people just think, oh, it's just a blue car. It's nothing special. And then I'll do whatever I want on them. Especially with that guy right there. Hello. But yeah, this is what the alignment's looking like right now. Not bad, not perfect. It's slightly pulling to the left, but still not bad. So I have to fight it a little to the right. As you can see, I am also turning slightly to the right, so probably not the best example. But when we're driving straight, you'll be able to tell. This car in particular gives me pretty much no issues, man. The HR350Z is the platform I chose to begin drifting because it is the brainchild of Nissan's couple years of research and development with the 350Z. The 0304 had the VQ35DE engine, which is a great engine, outstanding engine, and actually my second choice behind the HR. The 04 and the 05 has the DE rev up, which gives you an additional 1,000 RPMs on the gauge, which lets you get a little bit more power out of the motor. I think it also does push a few more horses, but nothing too significant. But with those years being those years, being what they are, the cars aren't as reliable for whatever reason. The DEs themselves burn some oil, but so do the rev ups. And when you blow a rev up motor, it's pretty much the same price as buying an HR. But the 07, is it 06? I think it's 07 and up. 350, 07, 08, 350Zs. Yeah, it's 07, 08, 350Zs have the VQ35 HR motor, which gives you another 1,000 RPMs on the dash, an additional bump in horsepower, no oil consumption issues or burning issues like the previous two generations had. And I don't know, man, this car, it just feels kind of perfect. Please don't get into my lane, you idiot. Wow, they were really close. But yeah, man, this car has been outstanding. I can go to the track, beat the hell out of this car. Yeah, I'm gonna snap an axle or two, but that's a given when drifting a 350Z. But this car in particular, like, knock on wood, it never overheats. Haven't had any engine issues. I have blown a transmission, but that was because of my own fault and not having enough clutch fluid in the reservoir. I had enough, it's a long story. I had enough, I'll summarize it for you. I had enough in the reservoir initially, but I drove the car to the track. By the time I got to the track, I was ready to just drift. I did not check my reservoir because that's not something that you should normally have to check. However, the day prior or so, I had my slave cylinder changed, and I don't think the guy did a very good job or whatever, but the line was still not fully bled, and so I lost a lot of fluid as I started drifting. And then before I knew it, my reservoir was empty, but I didn't know it until my transmission just straight said kerplooey. And then yeah, I couldn't shift no more, man. So that kind of sucked. I was still luckily able to drive the car all the way back home. It's about a 2.5 hour drive. However, I could not shift into third if I could get into second. And the times that I could get into third, I for sure couldn't get into second. So it was just very strange, very challenging all the way home. Make sure we ain't got no cars coming. Got to do some swooping here. But yeah, man, overall, this car has damn near zero faults, zero flaws. It's a quick little car. I'm in 6th gear, passing up slower traffic right now so I can get over. I do have a video in mind that I'll be making about this car pretty soon, about the things I love and hate about it. But this is just what it's like to drive a drift car every single day. And man, it's awesome. My welded differential does get some interesting looks from older folks at supermarkets when I'm making tight turns and what have you because of all the wheel chirp. My angle kit does get some interest from younger folks who know what it is. When I pull that hydro at random, it breaks people's necks because nobody knows what the hell's going on, where that just came from, or any of that good stuff. It's always a good time. But more than anything, the vibes in this thing when driving it are immaculate. It just reminds me every time that I've been to the track, it feels like I'm ready to take on anything, and sometimes I do, and that's not really that good. I need to chill because I just know what this car is capable of. I'll take an on-ramp or two or off-ramp. I don't condone anyone else doing that, but speaking on my experience, unfortunately for this car, parts are relatively inexpensive to fix. So should something break, there's huge aftermarket support for everything. There's a massive 350Z community out there, so if you don't know something, chances are somebody else has already had your problem and it's already on the forum, so you don't have to worry or wonder about that. Yeah, man, this thing, it provides a smile every time I drive it. Like, every time I park it, I walk away, look at it with a big cheesy grin on my face. It's just, this thing is the physical embodiment of a lot of hard work for me personally, because none of this shit was cheap to get, including the car itself, and I got it all on my own money. So, I mean, I hope that your car brings you just as much joy. Oh, this is a perfect time to test the alignment. Yeah, we're over in that lane now. Putting us back center, and it's pulling us back over into the lane. Let me get over. But yeah, like I said, this car has a lot of sentimental value to me. I highly doubt I'll ever get rid of it, but if I do, y'all better come correct. That's all I'm saying, because this car means a whole hell of a lot to me. Yeah, man. As far as gas consumption, it's not the best on gas, but it's also not the worst. My other car is a 05 Duramax diesel Chevy Silverado, and mind you, even that's not that bad on fuel, but it is $150 to fill that up. It's about 70, maybe 80 if gas is high to fill this thing up. Back during COVID, it was about 100 and something to fill, 115 maybe to fill this thing up, and it was closer to 200 to fill the truck up. So in terms of relative practicality, this thing is pretty economical. But yeah, it's definitely no Prius. I'm not getting 4,000 miles to the gallon, but I am getting 4,000 miles to the second. This thing it's just awesome. Just knowing you can pass just about anything on the road. People always pull up to me wanting to race. I just let them go ahead and make a fool of themselves, because this is a drift car. It's not a go fast car. Mind you, every now and then I do give somebody the sauce. If a Challenger a Charger pull up to me and I can tell it's a V6, you're getting gapped, buddy. Matter of fact, I'm talking shit, but last night there was a Camaro that tried me, V6, kept doing the another topic for another video. Again, if you're watching this considering getting a 350Z, if you can, I highly suggest getting a manual first and foremost. Excuse the mess on my floor. A manual first and foremost, but also getting an HR engine, which is the 07 to 08, because you'll find far less issues, far less flaws, and have a much better time, to be honest with you. More power, more reliability. I don't know, they just work the kinks out with this motor. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this far, please make sure to drop a sub. If you guys have any suggestions for the types of content you'd like for me to make, or have any questions just about what it's like to own this thing, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I hope that you guys have a blessed evening. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.